Hello friends, this is Mahesh, and today we are going to see Polyfill for Promise.all. Actually, I have been asked this question in Paytm, in Barclays, and so many other companies ask this question. So, interview point of view, it is really important. This question is really important. Okay, so first of all, what is Polyfill? Okay, so I'll tell you about the Polyfill first. So, what is Polyfill? So let's say this promise.all is working on Chrome but not on IE11. So what we have to do is we have to write our own implementation for promise.all for IE11, Internet Explorer 11. Okay, so that is Polyfill. That means is we are going to write Polyfill for promise.all. Okay, so let's write a code now. Let's dive deep. So let me give you an example first, a life example. So let's say you have a girlfriend and she is asking you for three things. Okay, so if you fulfill those three things, then she will marry you, otherwise she won't marry you. Okay, so those three things are: first, left cigarette, you have to leave cigarette, no cigarette, I will write here no cigarette. Second one is no drinking, and third one is buy house. Okay, so if you fulfill all these promises, then she will marry you, otherwise your marriage will not happen. Okay, so this is the promise. Okay, so you have to kept all the promises, otherwise thing will not happen, right? So we will be writing the implementation for now, for promise.all. So let's write a class here. Class, I'll say my promise, and we'll have to write my promise.all. For that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write a static method for add. I'll add here, write a method which method name is add. Okay, so when each one of the promise we will be fulfilling, that time we will provide array to this this function, right? We will provide the array, and once all the promises got fulfilled, then we will return back the response, right? So that's what we will be doing in here. So for that, we will have to first get the parameter in here, and that parameter will be array of promises. So I'll write promises. So we will be getting promises in here. So this three promises: no cigarette, no drinking, buy house. So this promises we will be getting in this promises array, right? So okay, so now what we will be doing is, so here I'll write let promises, let responses first. I'll tell you why I'm gonna write responses. Let responses array, and let error response. So this two things. Okay, so this responses array, we are using this responses array when our each one of the response got fulfilled. Then that response, that promise response, we are going to push that inside responses array, and that all responses array then we will return back. And similar way, if we got any reject response, that time we will be adding that response to error response, and then we will return the error response, okay, back to the function from which we called this promise, right? So this is error response and promise. Okay, so let me save. Now what we will be doing, we will be returning the new promise. Returns new promise. So we have to return a promise, and this promise will contain resolve and reject. These two resolve and rejects are the callback functions. So when our promise get fulfilled, then we have to call this resolve. If we get the reject, then we have to call this reject callback. Okay, so we will be getting this two callback functions. Okay, and now what we have, this array. So inside this promises, we have to run the loop, promises loop, and this promises we will be running the loop, which will be this for each. Okay, so we will be running this for each loop, and this will the first element will be the single one promise at a time. Okay, when we will be running this for each loop, we will get element as in one promise at a time in here. Okay, so I'll say single promise to this first element, and second one is index. Okay, this two. Then what I'll do is I'll just save this single promise into the response, single promise, and I'll say await here. If let's say we are hitting the service, okay, and from that service we are getting the response. Okay, so let's say so this cigarettes in here, let's give so let's say we are hitting the service, and that service after some times giving us the response, then we have to wait for that response, and then we have to call the new promise, right? So that is why we will be waiting for each and every promise first. So as I have written await here, so this callback function should be async function, right? So I'll be writing async await in here. So this is async function. Okay, so I hope till now all things are fine. Okay, now what we'll be doing, as we are writing this async await, and I think this should be, we should be writing this in a try catch block. I have just missed it. I'll just write try catch. I'll put it in a try catch block, so that if we will be getting any error, it will go inside this error. Okay, and here, from here, what we will be doing, we will be adding this error response inside this error response array. Okay, so this is array, and we are pushing the object one error. Okay, this error inside here. Okay, and from here what we'll be doing, we will be calling rejected and with the error. So we have called this reject callback function from here. Okay, so when any response get any one of the promise got rejected, that time we will be hitting this reject callback. Okay, so from here, let's say we got the success response, and we got the response in from this promise in the resource array. Then in that case, what we have to do is we have to add that promise inside this promises array. Okay, so I'll be writing this responses dot push resources. Okay, so what we have done is we have added the single promise response inside the responses array. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to check are we present on the last index of the array, so that are all promises are done or not. Okay, so we'll have to write a condition for that. So we'll be checking that if we are on last index. Okay, so if our promises index is equal to promises array. So this promises dot length should, it will be -1. Okay, so it means this promises dot length -1 means we are on last index of the array element. Okay, so this must be our last index. So in here we will be checking that if we have error responses, if we have error responses, then we will return a callback as a reject. Otherwise we will return a callback as a resolve. Okay, so we will be writing that in here. So what we have to check is we have whether we have a error response or not. If we have a error response, then we will return a callback as reject here. So again I will be writing in here as a if condition, and inside this if condition I will be checking this error response dot length. Okay, so its length is greater than 0. That means we have added the error, and any one of the promise was got rejected. That's why it was in here, this loop was in here, right? So let's say that is greater than 0. Okay, error response is greater than 0. Then what we will be doing is we will be calling this reject, and we will be returning all the error responses which promises got rejected. We will be writing that there. Else we will be resolve. Else we will return, or we will be calling callback method as a resolve, and we will pass all the responses which we got. Okay, so this is basically the logic of promise.all. We will try to run it now. So to do that, what we will need to do is we will need to call this method. So first we will write promise1 p1 is equal to promise dot, I'll say resolve. Okay, I will not say reject first, we will say resolve. And this resolve means we are not smoking left. Okay, smoking left. If we write const here, then I think it's fine to use const to promise dot, oops, yeah, I think I missed my promise. No, it's fine. Promise dot resolve, then second one, no drinking, smoking left, I will say drinking left in here. Okay, smoking left, drinking left. Now third one is const p3 equal to promise dot resolve, and what home, that would be the third one. Okay, so now that means all promises are fulfilled. So what we are going to do is we are going to call our own implementation, which is my promise, and dot add. I have written add here, but I think we should say all. Sorry for that. All. and we will pass array p1, p2, p3. Okay, dot then, and we will receive a callback function, a resource response, sorry, and we will be printing this onto the console. Okay, so I'll write res response in here, and if there is any rejection, then we will be getting that in an array. We will be getting that inside array. So I'll say error in here, error, and we'll be writing console.log error. Okay, so I think this is it. Now let's check if our logic is working or not. So let me refresh it again. We got the result: smoking left, drinking left, and bought home. So all promises been fulfilled. Now let's check the catch block if any promise got reject. Okay, so I'll say reject in here. So I'll write reject promise got rejected. So in this case, what should happen? Only promise got rejected should print onto the console, because according to our implementation, so when all the promises get fulfilled, only then we return all the responses. Otherwise, the rejected response we give return back. So we will check if we get the catch block promise got rejected. Yes, we got the promise got rejected. So this is all about the promise.all. I hope you liked the video, and if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe, like the video, and if you have any queries, any questions, please let me know that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.